welcome to Part 8 of our adventure in MIO Memories in Orbit. We're pretty far along. Currently, as you can see in the top left, we've lost 5 diamonds of health to tremors, so the 5 diamonds to the left all go down in one hit if the white protective coating is removed. One of them, for all I know, might have been erroneously activated because this is still in the pre-patch version that's on Switch 2. The game has since been patched with a couple of fixes and improvements on Steam, and apparently in the patch notes, one thing that it said was that one of the tremors peeling off your health could potentially have been activated early. I don't know if that applies to me. We don't know what triggered it or what is supposed to trigger it and at what time, but that's just one caveat worth keeping in mind. We've exhausted a great deal of the map at this point. We do have access to what looks to be, if not to the finale, definitely a major step towards the finale in the story by accounting for the last pearl in the room just above this one, where we can make a stab at a spine. There are a couple of things down here that we have not really properly explored. We did a very cursory look at the redacted section over here last time in search of the 6 serial number, because we're currently missing number 5 out of 6, and it's somewhere in that zone implicitly, but I haven't found out exactly where. We have a couple of passages that we'll want to return to and explore down in the lower level, although notably I don't have a direct connection down there yet when it comes to the Overseer teleport network, because there are some nodes that we still need to join up there. So we haven't taken a look at this entire escape passage since the original Solong escape, and so there will be a lot to retrace over there as well, and some conspicuous doors that we'll want to crack open. Other spots in the map that are still unopened or not fully explored, I have checked, and I don't see a way to get there just yet, including one area here that was, I believe I pinned it, behind a waterfall. Did I pin it? Yeah, it's right here, this central pin in this location, where there's a grapple point where you have to go through a hazardous, toxic waterfall that I don't really know how to dodge through or pass into just yet, but we did unlock a grapple point there that leads you to some passage in the middle here. We don't know how to do that. But as the first order of business today, we're going to take on something that we spent entirely too much time on back in session 3 of our adventure when I was just not even 10 hours in, which is this fight up here with Sol and Vin, the last engravers. And back then we were severely underpowered, and I did manage to make it to the last phase with the bosses at about 20%, and it was very clear at the time that I didn't really have the abilities or the level of power to get through that phase comfortably. But we've played quite a lot since. We're over 30 hours now in the in-game clock, a little over 31, I think. And since then, I've acquired multiple damage upgrades and a lot more modifiers to work with, as well as various movement abilities like the glide that are going to be very useful there. So I think in order to give ourselves enough time to properly work on that, that is what we're going to do first. So I'm going to port up to the nearest Overseer, and we'll play with our configuration a little bit, and I'm sure there will be a little warming up to do and a couple of failed attempts at first, but it should not hopefully take 4 hours worth of failure like we did last time just to get to the final phase. I think a grand total of twice. So let's get over there and retune ourselves for a fight. Okay, now the thing about this boss that made it difficult was that with my previous setup the last time I went there, where we had 2 black diamonds like you start with at the beginning of the game and only a few more diamonds of coating above that, was that you could only take 2 hits worth of damage, because it seemed that no matter how much health I put onto the protective coating of white health, everything would be eliminated with one hit, and then you would be taken down by the second hit. So assuming that you can only take 2 hits on that fight, and assuming that's still true with my current health pool, it might be worthwhile to go for maximum risk and maximum damage. What does that mean? It means that we're going to receive double damage, and we'll see if that means I die in 1 shot rather than 2 on that boss, because we'll have to experiment a little bit. And we're already removing 1 layer of protection. That's good. We don't need Naker on the way because we're not replenishing health between this save point and the boss. And we will want to keep our normal dodging speed because that is absolutely vital on this fight. And then we'll retune a couple of things that we don't necessarily need. So last phase, this doesn't matter too much with the energy recharge because the last phase eliminates ground entirely, but we do need to get there safely to begin with. And yeah, I think we do want to take perfect state because, again, we're going maximum risk. We want to dodge as much as possible and just get through the early phases as quickly as possible. And this is absolutely necessary because that allows us to sustain grapples in midair. And so we have 40 points available. We actually should not take gratitude because on that fight, there's just no opportunity to stay still on the ground. It's not even MIO staying on the ground for a short time for this ability. It's staying still and not moving even left or right. So we're going to free up tons of points. And we're going to see what we can do. More damage here. And yeah, this, I think we'll be grappling a little bit in the late phase, so maybe that makes sense. Let's take a look at what the other options are first. Because we still have so many points available now. And increased damage while using this sail, maybe so. Oh yes, we want the one where energy is not fully charged, for sure. And that synergizes with a few of these different things. With the hairpin or the sail. Now, do we want to take the 40-pointer where you hairpin towards them and slice? Let's see. Let's take all this stuff. So basically, if I'm using energy at all, we have a bit of an additional boost. And then we have energy recharge over here. And yeah, we just need to not get hit, but we'll see if, again, we can sustain 1 hit or 2. The reason it took so long to practice that fight previously was that you have to dodge perfectly through it. And in order to dodge perfectly through it, you have to do so for quite a long time just to get through the early phases because there are a few opportunities to really hit comfortably. And so what would happen is that the fight would just be very, very long. You'd have to dodge and dodge and dodge for minutes because you can only get in a few pokes here and there. But now that we have all of the different flat damage increases that we've picked up over the course of the adventure, 3 of them I think, plus the abilities that we built into, this attempt might be a lot quicker in either direction. Failure or success. So it is the 3rd phase, the pure air phase, that we have not really had any decent practice on yet. And again, we'll have to sort of practice the tells and dodge timing a little bit again just to get things back in order. We do have to glide now, which we didn't before. Oh, that was actually a little bit dangerous. I meant to float, not... yes, and that's a follow-up attack when they spike onto the ground. Very important to see that. And look at that, through the first phase already. That's unusually fast. Okay. So there's a bit of a fake out here. and I got hit already. Oh, that's not good. But it does confirm that even with the double damage that I'm taking, I'm able to sustain 2 hits. So taking the double damage deliberately actually is going to be beneficial. And then if we're not at max energy, due to the glide, we can get in this way and get a nice early hit. Okay, then push in this way. So again, we have no margin of error at this point, so likely failure, but that was such an incredibly quick phase 1 that I think this build will do okay. We just need to get into the habit of reading all the tells properly again, and with the glide it's a little bit easier to time some of the positioning. Perfect State does a huge amount of damage, it seems so. I mean, we hadn't really seen it in action previously. But yeah, we're stacking tons of stuff now. The damage buff for the glide for not having a full energy pool, the strong attack for using the hairpin. A lot of these things compound, and so I wasn't even able to watch the bar because we were watching the fight, but perhaps if you were watching the health bar, you saw just how much of a chunk we were taking off just to blast through phase 1. But yeah, there's no downside on this fight to taking double incoming damage. No downside whatsoever. And so, very glad we did all the platforming it took to get through that one. Okay. And look at that, I even chained them together with how we usually do it. Projecting one enemy into the other with an ability that we certainly didn't have before. Oh, almost got caught by a little fake out there. Okay, let's not get hit by the backswing on the fall up. Yeah, we don't have an approach for the air phase yet. We need to conserve energy on the grapple and not waste energy on the glide. But yeah, phase 1 was not as fast as last time, I think, but it was still reasonably quick. And then just need to dodge cleanly. And we'll be able to do it, I think. Oh, okay, actually managed to get the second dodge out of that. I fluffed the timing initially, but a little bit of fake out here. Not even using the hairpin yet, that'll be for the next phase. And using the crystal nodes for the damage buff is helpful if you can set it up, but they're not in a great position for that at the moment. Oh, nope, missed a dodge. I dodged too early at first and I missed a second one, so I knew I was a little bit too close and within range of that attack that time, but swat them a little bit. It's a much quicker fight than I remember, that's for sure. Oh, no. I realized at the last minute I didn't have energy to grapple through that point. I needed to tap the crystal, not attempt to grapple with less than full energy due to the glide. So yeah, in case it wasn't clear, this is our current setup where we just have everything on. I didn't even take off the defragmentation. I don't know if that could be reassigned to something more useful. But yeah, we have all of these negative ones on because I think we can work around all of that and basically have the same fight we did before, now with gliding and now with significantly greater damage output. And welcome, Chess Bunzo. Okay, so let's get back into it. And yes, Chess Bunzo, in case you're wondering, because I know you were here the last time I attempted this fight a few weeks ago, I have in fact progressed in other areas of the game before coming back here. But that's why I'm confident we can get it this time around. We just need to get some of that defensive muscle memory back in play. Oh, nope. Wow, that was already bad. Rough start already. That was unfortunate. Shouldn't be making a mistake that soon. Yeah, we didn't have to depend on a glide previously. If we can just get a timing back that doesn't use the glide, then we're able to use the grapple a lot more often. But tapping the crystals for energy after a glide is also something helpful that is now in our repertoire. Whoops. But yeah, what's happened here is that I've made myself deliberately weak when it comes to health, but in exchange for a lot more damage output, so the fight essentially feels the same except faster to get through, and therefore requiring perhaps a little less perfection. But we'll find out. And thank you for coming by for your watch streak as well. Okay, let's make another run at it. Oh yeah, I still had the strong attack from my earlier grapple banked up. I didn't even realize that until this moment. But let's, again, just play defensively as much as we're able to do. Oh, that was already a mistake very early on. First attack in. So unfortunately, I lost my perfect state buff. And yeah, no, let's just redo this. That was a terrible attempt that time. Things fell apart instantly. That's okay, that's the risk we take. This is also why I'm attempting this at the very beginning of the stream, because this could take an indeterminate amount of time, just not as long as last time. And there will be a lot to learn and clean up along the way. If we can get through phase 1 and 2 with no incoming hits, then we'll be in great shape. I guess that little aura you have around you is what tells you that you've banked up the strong attack from the grapple. I actually hadn't really paid attention to that visual indicator previously, even though we've been using this on and off the whole game. Oh. Okay. Let it come in. Yeah, you have to walk away from that swing. Missed it, but we... Oh! Got thrown off a little bit by the pattern there. It's unfortunate. Yeah, tapping the grapple points does give me the double jump as well, which is important. Because that means we can attack and aggressively. Whoops, nope, bad positioning there. Yeah, and Mario, congratulations on your 50 stream streak. I feel like you should be rewarded with a lot more points for that than what you appear to be getting there. 50 stream streak? Where does that even put you when it comes to when that streak began? That would be a couple months back at this point, probably. November, maybe. But we continue to appreciate the viewership, no matter how long or how short it has been. Yeah, Zerzix, I missed opportunity to increase the points every streak by Twitch. I don't even know what current formula is. I can't even remember when they started bringing in the watch streak bonuses. And I should put up more point rewards at some point because they haven't been updated in years and years. Same with the emotes and everything else that on the community and meta side when it comes to the stream. It's perhaps a little under-engineered at the moment. Okay. Occasionally trying to take advantage of the hairpin, but... yeah, so when they do that little swing there, I do in fact have an attack opportunity. That was a little close there when it comes to range. A bit too dangerous. But we made it. There's a lot of fake out here, but we got it. Yeah, the glide bonus has been paying off a little bit here, for sure. I think you need to be holding into the glide when you use it, though. We haven't really practiced with it very much. Oh, accidentally footstooled that one instead of hitting from the side. Get out. Get out. Oh, no. Stood too close that time. Dodged the wrong way, rather. Yeah, it doesn't take very many mistakes to kill this, so... kill the attempt, rather. Not kill the boss. Anyway. Oh, I saw that coming. I heard the sound effect. We were unprepared. I was thinking in my head, we're close to phase 3. I reacted a bit late, because when I heard the sound effect, I peeked over at the health bar on the top right, and I thought, are we at phase 3 already? And then I got caught in the drop, so... very close that time. Considering that when I last made a serious crack at this fight back in session 3 of our stream, we only made it to that phase 3 platform drop twice, I think. The fact that we're back there this early is a very good sign. We just need to hopefully get there in a perfect state, and with the energy recharge on tapping the enemy at all, as long as our energy management is good with the hairpin grapple we should be able to get through this, because there's very little health on the boss at that point. It's already down to about 20 to 25% on that phase transition. But yeah, holding into the glide to get the glide damage buff is something that will be useful here as well. Let's remember that. That. Decent chunk. Sometimes I'm just a little bit out of position here. Let's get away from the swipe. Oh, I'm going for the wrong one. But at least they both have the damage debuff now. And there you go, phase 2 already. Oh, nope, wrong button. Or rather, I thought I had my double jump and I was actually still midair, so that was a really big mistake there. Just trying to manage my dodge and my glide at the same time, and we absolutely made a couple of mistakes. Notice that when they port out, they no longer have the crystal debuff. That they shed that circle around them upon teleportation. It's okay, that was a quick phase 1 that time. Good sign. Taking advantage of stacking all of the different abilities that we have going on. Also, like I said, this is on Switch 2, it's pre-patch. One thing I did notice in the Steam patch notes for 1.2 is that this elevator specifically has received a speed increase in the latest version of the game. I think that's what I was told in chat a few sessions ago as well, but we're not noticing it too much so far because, as usual for me, a bit of transition time into a new attempt is when I, as a streamer, get an opportunity to actually hydrate. So we don't mind little breaks in the action like that so much. And there you go, yeah, from the crystal debuff there, that was so much damage off already. That was a little dangerous. Nope, should have gone for the other side there, but that's okay. Better to stay alive. Nope, should have gone for left again. Yeah, you don't get that double stomp in the middle anymore at that point, the one that faces out at this phase. It's too convenient for the player to have an attack like that conveniently landing on the platform. At least we're not getting too many of the attacks where they throw at you. However, this is it. There we go. Dodged out of it. Stayed barely out of range. Yeah, hopping over it is a good way to get around that as well. Okay, here we go. Oh. Hairpin up. We're close. There we are. Yeah, it took a little bit of improvisation there. And we got our little Cogwork Dancers cutscene, as you can see. That took a little bit of improvisation there, but then I realized that when we were in trouble, every time I tapped this, I refreshed my grapple. You grapple over, you slap them again, you refresh your energy. And so as long as I kind of cycled around one particular point, I now rationally justify after the fact, we were able to get through. Anyway, let's listen to The Last and Better, because I wonder if this changes depending on who you tap first. That maybe we took out Vin and Soul is the one we listened to. Does it reverse if you get the critical point of damage on the other one? Or are they so interchangeable that we can't notice who is who? Regardless, let's listen to Soul. Fine, go. Go see for yourself. Go see the failure that disgraces us all. Go and learn that sometimes the truth does not yield answers. Okay. Can't wait until we take the Dream Nail here and get the hard mode version, right? Anyway. So here, as you can see, there is dotted line on the top, which tells me that we can probably continue to progress upward to reveal more of the room. When it is an open ceiling that is just a boundary of the world, there is no dotted line. But here, clearly there's more room to explore above. Now, at some point we should probably get out of this super high risk double damage build in case we just take random environmental damage somewhere, but we'll collect some cash here first. So yeah, 06i, now that I've passed this fight, you can tell me all about your build. Because I seem to recall that you said that you also went extra high damage against this. But here's Black Widow. Damage inflicted on enemies temporarily increases while using the Striders. You know what this would have been good against? This would have been fantastic against Friends, which we saw last time when we inflicted critical damage on our friends. But I use Striders so much that actually this is a neat little thing here to go with what we already have for damage with less than full energy, plus sail, plus hairpin, all these different things. And that as long as you have movement abilities going on, you can go very aggressive. Anyway, let's move on up. There's more to see on the left too, probably to the path that goes back down, but let's get up here first to see what awaits us. Oh, UI disappears. That tells me there's a cutscene coming. Maybe, or something really important. And look at this. Grasping for something important here. Lure a seal, there you go. That's what I thought. Grants access to the tuning chamber. Cast away your old shell, forget your material desires. Cut all ties with your past. You are a traveler no more, for you now give your voice to the vessels. So, this is interesting. Because the travelers, as we understand them, were the human space colonists, and they build all these machines, but then the voices were the ones that are the 5 central elements here, the ones that are the different body parts associated with the pearls. And we knew that there was some kind of engraving process for how the pearls were given a voice. And now, so we know that the voices were actually transplanted from the travelers. And this is our first real sign of that in the story, kind of filling in that missing link there, which is interesting. So the machines were ultimately commanded by entities that were preserving human consciousness. I don't know how willing that was. It doesn't look particularly like a willing sacrifice, but that's what the engraving is that the different characters running the show here have human consciousnesses in origin. 06i, you used sharpened hairpin for most late game bosses until you realized how broken it was. I was considering that. I was considering sharpened hairpin, but I was thinking that it's, on this fight, a little too difficult to consistently set up the grapple when I'm dodging everywhere. So I was thinking, since I'm working defensively, that something like Bird of Prey would cover for all the moments when I'm not just grappling around everywhere. But obviously, something like sharpened hairpin Would have been amazing on the final phase when we had to hairpin into position to approach the bosses. Anyway, speaking of Lura's Seal, we know exactly where that goes. This room here. That goes to something called the tuning chamber. We don't know what awaits us, so we'll save before we hit that and change our build a bit. But we'll be presumably coming here, dropping back down, coming to this save point, and then we'll see where Lura's Seal will take us from that point. Also, can you go even higher? Looks like you can, actually. It goes even higher. Oh no, that's where we came from before. That's where we previously were already. But let me just scale this wall on the left just to see what happens. Yeah, it goes up this vaulted chamber. I think this is probably the maximum extent of where we'll be, unless the map says otherwise. There's excited. You said it makes every boss very easy because it does so much damage, which is fun to do until you can't anymore. Interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, I got sharpened hairpins so early in the adventure, right? That all that time I was thinking if we could budget the points for it, and we should use it a lot more. Here it is. There's another 40-pointer we haven't picked up yet, incidentally. That's got to be something special. I don't know at this point if we'll actually... Oh, here's a flash memory from embedding duty. I don't know at this point if we'll actually do 100% on stream because, again, there are a few locations on the map that I have not been able to puzzle out after repeated attempts. It depends, I guess, on whether we get something like a final movement skill that's very critical or another situation where a particular platforming challenge is dependent on a modifier, which is certainly something we've seen already. But we'll get as far as we reasonably can. Because I think it's heavily implied that approaching the spine is some kind of ending, perhaps. The process must not be disturbed. The process must not be interrupted. The process must be protected at all costs until completion. Otherwise, Mr. Rossetti comes out and yaps at you for ruining your save file. No visitors are authorized inside the facility for the duration of the event. All intruders will be eliminated. So yeah, seems like it's maybe rather secretive here that the embedding involves the mind or soul or substance or whatever of the traveler. But we'll go back down to the former statue of the last Earthborn, which seemed to have been ripped away. Last Earthborn being Lucy, who had this wind instrument tucked away in the big transport crash. So, let's see, lots of implicit tragedy behind the downfall of this whole place. 06, I've looked up nothing about the ending. I know that somebody who finished the game came into chat quite a while ago and said there were two endings. They also said they got both endings without having fought Sol and Vin, so I know this is not that relevant. But that's the only thing I've been spoiled on. I know there are two endings. I know there's a true ending. I don't know what triggers it. I don't know if we'll be fumbling around for a lot more, like the way that Act 3 is tucked away in Silksong, or if there's some other trigger. But I will see what kind of ending we run into, and I will see what is implied by that, and we'll try to figure it out without outside information from there, if possible. I'm sure there will be sufficient information in the game. Also, let's not die here, because I just remembered that we are on double damage right now and also very low health. So yeah, the last Earthborn statue got taken away. We want to go downstairs and save. It's down below here. And we need to be pretty careful about this stuff. And then there we are. Oh, there we are. Almost. But yeah, let's reconfigure a little bit since we have done our business with Sol and Vin nice and quickly. After all the time that we put in to learn the dodging pattern in such a weaker state. I will be very interested to sort of imagine what we could have gotten here with Lura Seal had we completed the fight when we originally attempted it. I kind of wonder what that affects when it comes to the sequence of things that you pick up over the course of the game. Anyway, we'll need to take off a lot of stuff here, so we don't really need tons of Nacre bonuses anymore because I bought everything in a shop. So it's okay if I am not so currency minded. We do want a free repair because sometimes we are platforming around and just have nothing in the bank. Oh yes, we also want energy leecher at all times. But we can go back to something a little bit leaner, perhaps. And let's see what else we can plug in. So I got 50 points to work with. So we can take a 30 and a 20, or 20, 20, 10, or 40, 10. Actually, yeah, let's go gratitude because it's great for exploration purposes. And we can take a 10 after that. Well, since we're not taking the one that generates energy shards, maybe we should take that. Yeah, or we can expand some again if we really feel like it, but let's just do this for now. And then go down to Lura Seal. Who knows? Maybe it's another boss fight down there, and then we would just need to build into something aggressive again. Now, is it faster to port down to the other point here, or just go down as is? I think we'll just go down as is and drop through the left when we get there. Or maybe not, but we'll find out. Yeah, at this point you just take those out pretty much instantly. And then... Oh, I said I wanted to drop down, and we actually never found a point to do so, so... Oh, right, because I had to drop to the floor below the save point where we accidentally dropped earlier. Otherwise you're stuck up above all of this. And by save point I mean the Overseer, of course. The transports and modification station. Very similar to the setup in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, actually. And we'll go left because that'll be closer to the path down to where we are going to use Lura Seal. Sure, we'll get you too. Yeah, now everything just goes in so quickly. We might as well crystallize on the left. Again, not that we really need the cash. And let's see what awaits us in the tuning chamber. Whatever that is. So yeah, now we have a lot more context for stuff like this. The embedding ceremony. So you see that there's that person-like figure making their way over there. Well, that's where they get extracted. And they become the voice. That's the embedder, as we know. And a Pearl's anatomy. So yeah, they actually become the voices of the pearls. But that is one truth that has been revealed. Let's just drop straight down. No reason not to, I think. And then it's actually one lower floor for Lura Seal. Tuning chamber, there we go. What happened to the last voice? I always wondered. Anyway, let's open up. We still don't know, incidentally, when it comes to the whole lock section. Where was Lura Seal located? Here. So this was a series of locks. Or rather, keys, rather. This is a whole key section. We don't know what the serial numbers will do for us, and we don't know where the candles will go or how many we need. However, now that we know Lura Seal is in this section, this implies to me that these are also keys that we'll have to find. What does it say in the description again? Let's take a look. Yeah, you are a traveler no more, for you now give your voice to the vessel. Anyway, here's the tuning chamber, and then we'll pick up the pristine curio. We need to find a personal assistant again to study these. Handcrafted note of the uttermost elegance. Well, yeah, we need the personal assistant to read this stuff and also look at the recorder. Because we don't know what that's all about. That seems like it's a rather precious thing to seclude away here. Lots of Lura lore in the room. Yeah, I mean, well, we know that Lura had the room with the keyboard and everything, and you've got all these envelopes here. Correspondence. Glasses, a metronome. Inkwell. Does this one have anything new to say? Not really. Okay, at this point, the next thing to do, as I was saying, because we still haven't found a way to get here. This is a door that's locked from the right side. Scanned all around here, and we couldn't find any plausible passage to approach yet. But rather than poke around with a lot of the same obstacles we've seen before, we'll prioritize the ones that I know I haven't actually looked at. Such as everything along the chase sequence. And we'll see what to do with, first of all, the Torn Overseer that is still disconnected and unable to connect. And also what to do with the fingertip that we need to deal with up there. Lots of locked doors all over the place. And so I think that's naturally where we want to go. In which case, let's go back upstairs and find a place to teleport. Unless... yeah, in this section you can go back down to Redacted, which at some point, again, we're still missing that its serial number, which I think... I don't know if they were acquired in order or whatever, but I feel like this section is still probably worth checking. But we might have to comb over the whole thing. I really don't know what it was missing with that, so... mysteries on the map continue to abound. And we'll just go left. So, we've got 6 of these here. The eye, the blood, the breath, the hand, the spine, the heart. And... let me take a look at these symbols all over the place. Because, yeah, we can see the symbol for the spine, of course. It tells you where everything is. Plus some symbols for other things like the engravers. Now, that's interesting, of course, because at the moment, just taking a look at this. Yeah, and of course the eye was all kind of shattered over here. But otherwise it matches up with this. And the blood was just to the left here. The breath we know. The hand was Dr. Helen down below. The spine we're aware of. And so at some point, we need to figure out what's going on with the heart. And the beginning of the game said something about the heart, and back then, of course, we were still trying to piece just the elementary stuff about the lore together and knew nothing about it. Also, I still don't really know. I guess this is just referring to the statue area here. This big symbol, because that doesn't resemble anything here. And I don't see anywhere with the heart symbol. At least not yet. So what is this area? Yeah, that was that whole central section with all the cabinets or shelves. It's essentially the library, I think. Something like that. But yeah, we'll push the lower level for as much as we can before we deal with the spine. But after the spine, there will be something to do with the heart. That still awaits us. Oh, so even with if I am moving, gratitude does eventually restore. For some reason, I thought you had to stay still, but I think you just need to make sure you stay grounded continuously. Because I was attempting to restore that point of health last time with gratitude to test whether you have to stay still or move, and it seemed at the time that you actually had to just stand on the ground, but true to the actual description of it in the text, even if you are walking, it does, in fact, restore eventually. I don't know if it does it slower, perhaps, but we will go over to the closest pathway we can to a lift that will take us down below, which is going to be the original point here. You can see we don't have a connection point otherwise, or we can go to the one over here, promenade entrance, because then that's closer to the beginning of the chase sequence side. Perhaps. Actually, let's inspect the map first. We go down that one, and the looping map occasionally makes me have to stop and take stock of where we are. Yeah, so go down here, and then this was the beginning of the chase sequence. So I think we actually do want to kind of follow that in order to scroll over it that way. So it makes sense to go down this lift instead. So we will do that. If I can find it. There we are. Still missing a couple of overseers even on the upper level. So we don't have a complete transport network just yet, but we'll get there. Oh yeah, we have to deal with the plant thing too, don't we, at some point? Was that here or was it further? It was a little further. So in that case, we'll go back down. Now, as we discovered in the previous streams, the lower level here, it can be a little bit crash prone, at least when we're reloading at an overseer upon death. We encountered a few crashes down there previously, but hopefully not too many issues today. As we descend into the underbelly of the structure. Notice the design on the shuttle and its surroundings. Was that close to what the design of the... Oh yeah, no, it's the design of the hand. Everything here follows the motif of the hand. In the laboratory. So, let's just proceed, and, you know, this looks like it's probably going to connect down here. This might have been just one of the areas we revealed when we were crawling through pipes. I'm not exactly sure, but it's close to whatever this is. And possibly this was a shortcut that was gated by crystals, since it's still that lighter color. That tells me I haven't opened it. And this is where, when we previously traveled here, we were thrown back by the hand. I don't know if there's anything else to reveal there, but it might not be anything interesting. We'll find out. But yeah, as you proceed to this passage here, this is going to be a wall that you hit with crystal. We might actually want to have the ability to generate that with dodges, but we'll reconfigure it as necessary. So. And of course those allow me to project the slingshot weak points as well. So back down to the vaults we go. Elevator shaft here goes below. I think we'll take it. Wonder if there's anything on the top side of this room here we can reveal. Actually, let's check the left here in case there's some kind of opening we hadn't seen. Kind of almost looks like an upper passage here, but it may or may not be accessible. Let's go down below. How far down are we going? Gloom Waterways tells me, oh, you know what? Let's see if that actually was an exit that was just locked from the left side. I will confirm that first, and then we'll go back up. And we'll also watch the walls here carefully in case there's... Yeah, it's locked from the other side, so we'll go back up. At some point, this here is also a mystery. Okay, so this is where we were previously chased. And there is a point to drop down below. I noticed this during the initial chase, but of course we didn't really have an opportunity to take it. I don't know if you're allowed to do that as an escape from the original chase. Maybe so. Tube is shut over here, and we'll perhaps open it. There's clearly more to see down below there too. Bad timing there. You know what? Let's stay grounded and just replenish health while we can. We should actually crawl up top and then drop on top of that node and then recharge energy this way. I don't know if I need this one as a grapple point, but we'll take it out. There's clearly something down below as well. Maybe we should go for that. On the right. Actually, yeah. Careful, we can go down here. More cash. 06i, on my first stream of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I talked about Silksong appearing in the 2021 Direct. Yeah, how time flies, right? I should go back to look at that moment. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, also, breakable wall here. That looks like it's kind of a secret, so we should check that side first for sure. See what's going on. Let's see. That's really interesting. I'm very curious why there's a breakable wall here. Oh, I was hoping to get a climb on that side. Maybe a shortcut on this side. I mean, you can see platforms around here. I don't know if there's anything to do down here. Oh, look at that. Elevator. So yeah, it looks like we found a shortcut of sorts. Well, we might as well take it. And I see. So you can unlock this lift. And then this actually unlocks all the way up to the vault's entrance, which is good. Let me just check this. So we found a shortcut going this way. Oh, and this guy got trapped on top of the lift. So it goes all the way back up now. Oh, right, because we... Oh, okay, no, we could have gone down there to begin with if we just unlocked the way to the Gloom Waterways point that we had already seen before. Alright, that makes sense. Interestingly enough, you can jump out of this lift early as it's going down. But we didn't, so I'll have to climb back up. Or rather, I can send it back up and jump off of it. So yeah, we've been here. Yeah, and then we can jump off like this. But then now we have a very convenient continuation point. Oh, missed the grapple. Okay, let's refresh. Nope, too late. Nope, oh, I used energy already. I can't grapple if I don't reload it. So you can't glide into the grapple, you have to remember that. And you have to full energy pool. That to be available. However, I took damage there and it did give me a grapple point, so... No, the timing's all wrong here. Nope, tapped too high. Timing was right there, I just jumped up above too high. I want to go down with the stomp here. Oh, no. Too far still. But we still have a jump available at that point. We double jump over under the crusher and then... Oh, whoops. Too close to the explosion. After we tap the grapple point, actually, then we can crawl on the ceiling. Nope, activated it by proximity. We need to stand aside so I can actually hit it. Okay, good. Okay, so I think we just follow that over and then drop. Oh, whoops, too much of a drop. Didn't really see where I was going there. Well, that's what the glide is for, theoretically. No, we need to basically crawl in the corner after that and then follow the other one down. Oh, you can actually sneak around that on the left. Didn't realize that. And wall crawl to the left of that when it comes down. Okay, let's wait for that extra point of health first. No, but not that close. The top corner works. I feel like maybe it's not even supposed to work. Oh, yeah, no. I feel like we just had a bit of an exploit there when it comes to finding the safe zone. You kind of need to get around to the left of this one and then sneak under the other one. I think I see the sequence now. There we go. That was actually not entirely how I intended to do it, but it worked. So I won't complain too much. And then, yeah, that got crushed. Oh. And that's rising and falling. Let's be careful here because there's clearly something going on the right side. Requires... Okay, so this is where we need all 6 parts of the access code. This door right here. Well, you don't see it on the map, but... Yeah, so this is what requires a serial number. We should maybe go back and look for that serial number then. Assuming that it's all in redacted. I need to comb through that whole segment very carefully then. Okay, so we found the connection point for that at least. So we now know what the serial number is used for, and we've matched a lock to the key. Again, we still have to deal with this here as well as whatever this wall is. Do we want to do that now? Yes, we should. And then we'll continue this way over then. Or not, because that's a drop. So, let's go back up. Okay, so maybe we should do a proper search for that remaining serial number. The remaining fragment. Now at this point, if I'm coming this way, we'll drop to the left and see what's happening with everything in that corner. Oops. I know there's a place to talk to the overseer here and inspect the map. So yeah, at this point, oh, there's a little top corner here too that I did not see on the way down. So we should look at that as well next time I drop back down. Because I didn't even see it. But that's why revealing the map is important. So let's go down below and then we'll see about this obstacle here. Whether that could be cracked from above or below, I don't remember. And then we'll see about any of these other passages or locks that have not yet been addressed. This down here was the Debbie the Collector fight, I think? Yeah. Right, because that's why we got out of this path and then to the right here. So let's keep going this way. It's hard to keep track of what I revealed from traversing pipes and what I revealed from traversing the outside. But we'll see. Did this go down? I don't think it does. We go across. Actually, one thing I should do then. We should, in fact, check the next pipe area, except this connection... It's a little too difficult to get straightened out navigationally. How to get to this point here. Maybe it's breakable below rather than above, but I do not remember. And we'll have to find out. Oh, too low. Wait, then how do I do this part? Up here. Oop. Just a little bit short there. Do we even do it? Previously. Okay, there we go. So we were here. I'm just going to go down to the crystallization point on the left and see. I suspect she's using all the gloom water for something. Well. Oh, right, because we're kind of reversing back through this path that we'd previously gone through in the other direction. It's okay, we can do it. Just barely. Then now I'm below whatever could have been cracked open. Oh, no, you can just crack this by itself. Oh. That's interesting. Okay, no, that's just a shortcut passage that drains this area. So that was just breakable all along. I wonder if Goliath has anything new to tell me about his writing projects. How come you always find new ways to end up here? If I were you, I'd get someone to check my direction indicators. Not that I'm one to talk mine, my lack of spatial awareness almost got me destroyed that one time. I was reading as usual in the observatory when I heard a terrifying rumble. In the end, my curiosity got the better of me, and I went to check what the ruckus was about. Unfortunately, I stepped in the wrong place. I fell through a big hole all the way down to the Nexus's roof. I think I could have climbed back through the rubbles, but at the time it seemed like a good idea to, well, you know, make my own journey, find my own story. And the next thing I knew, I was stuck right here. So who am I to lecture you, really? I don't regret my decision, though, and I'm almost finished. If I'd stayed up there, I would never have done all this. Okay. So yeah, we drained this little shortcut here that was actually clearly visible before. We just didn't take it. This does not give me insight into that other locked door down below. I feel like it's going to be something to do with the piping system, but let's maybe come here and crystallize first, and we'll see what else we can poke away at down there. Yeah, do we ever fight this one, or was this the one that I kind of skipped a long time ago? Well, we'll just take it out anyway. You don't get anything for defeating it. At least I don't believe so. Except a clear view of what's going on over here with the locked door. Maybe we can see something about how this is structured. Something about the ceiling here, I don't know. I mean, there are fences to climb in the background. Clearly you can get up to the ceiling, but then from there, what then? Possibly you just need to go through the pipes and reveal some exit from the pipes that we have not yet considered. So we've been here, I'm pretty sure. And then that pump system got restored, so that I believe we had played with it already, but then that doesn't explain how to proceed from here. Well, it tells you that it's going up and down. That doesn't give me any insight as to what to do with this door. The pipe here continues down below. I feel like we need to follow where it came from and then take it. And sure, let's crystallize meager 35 here. Okay, so we want to follow this pipe. That implies to me we actually do in fact want to find the entrance here. Wait, this doesn't take you down below though. This is the exit to that area. So then the pipe we actually want is this one here. Okay. So we've been through this before, but then maybe there was something down below at the end of the system that we hadn't properly revealed or thought about, because it takes you quite far down. And we've been here previously in a room that looks very much like the other shop above. Trivial, rather useless, disposable, and unneeded candle for a lost unit. Okay, so that doesn't get us anything new. It tells me what this area is. It does not show me how to connect to this one here. Maybe it's something from the left side here. But we'll make our way back over and see if we can reveal anything. Could be, too, that when this lowers, you see, there's somewhere that you can enter on the left here and then drop down to an even fatter pipe down below. I feel like we might not have taken that, actually. Let's try that. We might not have explored that properly all the times that we've been here, because we did shut off the flow here, but I didn't actually use that, did I? Let's find out. Does this look new? It looks new. We haven't been to this room. Oh. Let's maybe get through here a little more gracefully, though. Stride through the top. Barely make it through here. And then... what awaits us on this side? Something has stalled over here, as we can see. Everything's dried out. Oh, no, this is on the left side of the area that seems like it looks like the collective fight, except we're a little below where it was, though. Where are we? It looks like this is where we had the collector fight. The 5 platforms in the middle of the pipe exit on the right. The drop from above. It just doesn't seem to match the location I thought it was at. I actually would surmise from this that if you had come to this passage prior to doing this fight, then you would see poor Mel trapped in the back, writhing around. And what's this? High voltage discharge. After a short delay, the next attack will automatically stun the target. Interesting. Testing the intake capacity of standard vessel units to isolate their breaking point, yeah. So, a short delay from when? Short delay from just not attacking, or some other form of idleness? We don't really know, but anyway, that's been taken care of. So let's continue exploring. Oh. Now, at this point, easiest way to proceed. Well, we can see if there's something that happens if we try to proceed here, but yeah, no, it looks like everything's just blocked. But at this point, we can reverse back to the whole escape tunnel area, and there's clearly a lot more to see there. Let's wait for this to go down. The hand always has a plan, and the hand that never shares a plan. Well, given what we've done to the hand, I don't think she has a plan anymore. Oop. totally misread this. Okay, and then, well, if we can, we'll head back up this way. It might be a little bit unnecessarily tricky, but that may still be the best way to go. We'll need a lot better gliding than that, too. Play this way. Reload a point over here. And gracefully get back upstairs. And we might as well replenish some health while we're all the way back here. And consider whether I want to warp anywhere else. No, we'll continue from this point because we do want to look at this spot here after the drop. Do we have something to take off that I can use as an excuse to play with the high voltage? Maybe we will. I want to at least momentarily look at how it activates. Where did that even go? Somewhere in the 20 pointers. High voltage discharge over here, yeah. So for example, if we just do that, what happens? Was that any kind of stun? Oh, here's the high voltage. There we go. I mean, we took those down instantly, so you don't really see the stun as such, but... this might be fun. We'll play with it for a bit. Even at the cost of everything I've taken off. So let's continue back to the right, then. And then it will be through the escape passage again, but this time we will go to the right and we'll see if we can hit something on whichever wall is down here to the right. Oh no, okay, no, I see. This was just the closed pipe. So yeah, it is actually a one-way. Oh, and that shut on me. So now we have to go up the long way. So yeah, this is actually just a passage that will come back from some other point then, unless we have something like a flow switch or something else that will disable that. Oops. Accidentally trapped myself here out of curiosity. And yeah, so you see that little yellow outline for the stun. And then actually we have an exit out the lift now, so we can get back out of here quickly. Okay, so next point of interest is over here. That doesn't seem to answer the question of how to connect to the pipe system here, but maybe we'll see some other vital clues along the way. Oh, that was supposed to be a down swipe, we just missed. But yeah, there'll be lots to inspect here since previously we just didn't even get a chance to look at any of this area patiently. Seems like bottom right there might have a space to drop through there as well, but we don't quite know yet. Wait, and then how do we get across there? Well, with a little bit of swiping, perhaps. And a whole lot of caution. Or can we go up towards the ceiling? Can't really get that high, though. Here we go. And then, yeah, nothing to do but continue here, so we'll follow the escape pattern. And then this is where we found originally a bit of a shortcut to the right, but that might be obstructed now with the blades down below the way they are. Because on the initial escape I actually dropped through to the lower area quickly, if I recall. I don't know if that was still possible. I don't want to go through here. So you see there's a pipe entrance down below here. If we can sneak down below there, then we've got something that will connect to the other passage. Now, this continues to wind somewhere though. So there's a pipe from way below, actually. It comes up here and then continues to the left, which I think eventually exits after a long passage all the way over, because that's exit only. So we'll need to find something that will allow us to go down to the lower level to some indistinct and unseen room that will connect to this pipe that pops out here. We might not see that for some time, but let's go down here first. Oh, I see a couple of platforms up above on the upper passage. I don't know if that's going to be relevant to very much here. I'm trying to inspect all these areas down below just in case there's something to see. Looks like it'll be a while before we see that pipe connection, wherever that leads. So this is shut, because it's shut behind me previously, so I actually can't go through here anymore. Huh, interesting. But then I'm very close to the room that we needed to hit for that opening. Okay, interesting. So this is a dead end all of a sudden. That's curious. But given that this gate is on that side, well, we'll need some other way. I find it very suspicious that you can get all the way over here and see nothing. Maybe something going on up here. Not really. Inspecting the map really carefully here and trying to see what we can. Nothing up above, it seems. Maybe there's that upper platform on the way back out, but nothing that I don't already know. But it does reveal what we're going for, that there's some lower level even further down that will have a pipe for me to work with at some point. Hang on, let's get over over here. We got ejected quite far, actually, out of failing this bit. Oh, no. Whoops. All the way back here, actually, instead of being able to take one of those outer platforms. No, I need to glide over on the first one here. Here we go. Those clouds slightly lower this time. But with the double jump still available, critically. No further insights down here apart from dropping down below to what we've already seen for the exit pipe. So in that case, we actually do need to approach that from the right side. And there are a few things to see here, like whatever this is. And whatever this is. Lots of doors to crack. In that case, let's get back over to the other overseer back here. The traversals through the piping system does complicate things a little bit too, of course, but let's figure it out. So we are able to connect to the other one here, and then exploration will have to proceed from this point. So it's above this room that we have to deal with the fingertip. Then the vault shuttle is something that we have to deal with as well. And this was where we originally got into the hand fight, but then can we get out of here up above? I think we should be able to. We're climbing. This was the area, very floaty by the way, very low gravity by design, where we originally definitively revealed the cylindrical wrap of the map that we had long suspected. So we're outside the artificial gravity in this section. At least it seems so. So this one's locked from the other side, but we've got lots that we want to explore down here, so let's have at it. And I don't know if there's much to see from down below, but anyway, this was where we had the battle to contend with, and then to the left. Just going to look over everything pretty carefully here to see what we can crack. So here's an extra passageway we hadn't seen, and then, oh, unknown object. Another candle. Yeah, but that's all there is to that, so that doesn't go anywhere else. We need to go up above to continue left. Gaming Sage coming in with a party of 5. Welcome. Let's give you a big shout out. Hope Ocarina of Time over there was treating you well. I don't know if you were running randomizer or standard or anything else, but you let me know how adventures were over on your end today. And it was a randomizer, yeah. Hope that's been fun. I think it seems like most of the time when people I know on Twitch are running the N64 Zeldas nowadays, it's usually some randomizer or other to keep things interesting. Okay, so we've been down here before. I think we've seen everything in this corner that we wanted to see, and we need to go top left. Yeah, you almost got the randomizer beat, and you could have beaten it, but you're trying to find everything first, understandably. Okay. I have not yet streamed a Zelda randomizer on this channel. That's something that maybe we should look at some point. Okay, so this bit here. I saw the opening here, but I don't have a way to actually get up there, it seems. So we're missing some ability or some other trick or passage that will allow me to get over. There is a platform up above us here. Let's inspect this a little more carefully because currently we are missing something. So we're missing something in the pit. Locked from the other side. We had noticed that door quite a long time ago. And I can't jump on anything here. It seems that will take me... We need to go... Oh, look at this. Okay, that's new. But that's at the end of the escape passage, and the thing about the escape passage is that we have no way to get there at the moment. Because it was sealed on this side. And it's inaccessible on this side. So I think maybe we need some new ability before we can return there. We know that there's some ominous section called the pit at this point that might even extend all the way across. So there's more to reveal on this end of the map. And I may just lack a traversal ability for all I know, because we know we're missing something and we still have to deal with the spine first. How's this stream going? It's going very well. Because a few weeks ago there was one boss on one of my earliest streams of this game where I was stuck on for about 4 hours. And we got back to that one today and took that down in very few attempts because, of course, I'm now in a much more powerful state than we were previously. And so we got that done in no time at all. That was very satisfying after all the effort we put into learn how to dodge everything on that fight perfectly a few weeks ago. And yeah, this game has been a lot of fun. Very interesting movement abilities because of the way that everything is balanced around a finite energy bar that you see in the bottom middle. So you can climb up walls, you can glide, you can do all kinds of trickery, you can grapple, but it feels very different from other games in the genre because all of the movement has that energy management to it that encourages you to occasionally plant your feet on the ground, which is really kind of unusual for the genre when other games have just leaned so much into constant aerial combat. So yeah, we've had a great time with this. We're clearly getting near some kind of end. And I'd expect that maybe, depending on how thorough I want to be about combing the map, in another stream after this one, we might be done with the game. But we don't know yet. So yeah, my thought was that this seemed to imply a connection that will go over here. But Yeah, we just cannot crack any of this central area yet because it's completely locked away. Now, I feel like that's potentially connected to this spot here that we could not push through the wind tunnel. So maybe if we get some additional movement ability that allows me to go through here, then perhaps we get another lift connection that goes down to this central section, and then that would resolve a number of traversal mysteries. So given that we can't crack that any further at this point, I think the natural next destination for us will be to contend with the spine and see potentially what the last movement ability will be. So let's get up there and do it. Oh, need to tap that when we can. Yeah, you hit those, you reload your energy, and then there are quite a few platforming puzzles that just work by that principle of managing your bar while otherwise just clambering everywhere. And then we have the low grav section over here. And then we'll go back to where we needed to proceed when gravity has been restored. So, and then we'll take the shuttle back up to the central room. Yeah, I think at this point it makes sense to progress the story. So it's saying vault shuttle routes are too far away, probably because I just haven't uncovered that point, and perhaps there's just an additional shuttle point that's going to connect this section. I think it's strongly implied at this point, in fact. The gaming stage, you're saying a limited energy bar would make sense because you'd be too OP otherwise. Well, it depends on the map design, right? Because if you look at some Metroid games, some of them are extremely permissive to wall climbing everywhere, or infinite bomb jumping, and using all kinds of abilities. And the nice thing about this game is that I have definitely found inadvertently some things that look to be sequence breaks, which is always very satisfying. That I was told that I did do a couple of things in a different order than many other players, because the movement skills have the flexibility to let you do that. And the boss fights have been great fun in this game. So the standard for boss design in this genre has been raised so high, actually. It seems like most of the great boss fights I can remember seeing in the past few years were all in some sense in the Metroidvania or otherwise Metroid adjacent format. I have actually not played Ender Lily's Magnolia yet. I want to at some point. That's on my list of things to get to. And yeah, some of them are kind of close to Hollow Knight in that, you know, you have very melee-oriented combat, and it's a lot of pattern reading, sometimes from more than one attacker at a time. But the fights are such that if you do the pattern reading and you just understand the plan for what to do and you formulate some tactics, then they become approachable very quickly, and it's very satisfying to get to that point of going from a fight that takes you down in 5 seconds flat to being able to defend yourself well enough to chip things down. And look at that. Oh yes, that's right. We were told to come back later to see what has become of this place now that it's no longer a shop. So you're the one who put us out of work. Great. Once again, it's me and my thinking process with nothing else to do all day. Although I suppose it isn't as terrible as it could be. As dull as the others can be, at least I'm not alone. And not stuck on a ceiling either. Besides, Mel is even worse than me. With all her talks of breaks and relaxing, she's the one who can't stand in one place. It won't be long before she finds something to do and throws all the work at us. Might as well enjoy the peace while it lasts. Yeah, this little scene here is our reward for buying everything in the shop. Miss Lass, did you hear the news? Miss Mel says the work is over. I'm so relieved. It means I won't have to go to that horrible place again. You know, Miss Mel didn't send me out there to be mean. She didn't know that I was afraid of the wild. I put on a brave face. By the way, notice that the names of these ones are sine, cosine, tangent. I think. Well, this one is cosine, the other one is tangent. I think the one on the right must be the sine. If she had guessed, though, if she had known how dangerous it was, she would have stayed with us, stayed in the vaults. She wouldn't have taken any chance with her safety. Thanks to her, we're free, we've got our own place, and we even got to meet you. So if you ask me, it was well worth the scare at the end. So yeah, sine, cos, tan. Welcome to Mel & Co.'s Relax House. What do you think? Is it a good name? Since the workshop is now both workless and shopless, I'm testing new ones. Bill's not too thrilled yet, but it's only a matter of time. Thanks to you, she's already become a lot more mellow. See you around, pal. Look, enjoying her reading time in a hammock. Now, she was free, but sometime in the intervening action, she has once again become Dr. Howland's property. But it does say she's still a free unit. And we have talked to the lads now, so... Tan buddy, did I ever tell you my secret? The truth is, I'm your biggest fan. You think I could convince Mel to install one? Nah, forget it. Don't know what they're craving here, but we'll find out someday. Okay, so... It seems like we're about to trigger a big fight. Pertaining to the spine upstairs, we'll reconfigure a little bit. Expecting to hit a boss. That will be upstairs. So currently we have the hand, the blood, the eye, the breath, and then the spine is upstairs. And then with all these dealt with, then we have to deal with the heart, which I presume is actually going to be down in the pit that we saw hinted at earlier. So yeah, all the way up here, we'll deal with the spine. But let's set up first. Okay, so we're going for exploration. I actually wonder if stuns will do anything with the boss. I'm guessing not necessarily, but we don't need gratitude for the boss fight unless there's a clear opportunity to stand around and stay grounded. So let's put on a couple more points for damage output if we can. I mean, we hadn't really played around with sharpened hairpin, which came up in conversation earlier. That might be something interesting, but let's think about it. We could go for something like a really big hairpin build, for instance, just to see how it works. We don't know what kind of fight we're getting into. Leaves a trail over the hairpin. We need another +10 for that. And then damage from not being fully charged. Yeah. We want to add some more points. Maybe we do. Let's maybe run with this for now, unless we remove that for the base charge level, and then Or we could counter with the energy shard if we do get hit. Let's go with this setup here. And then if we want to go high risk and do the double damage thing, we will. But let's go with that for the time being. I'm assuming it's going to be a fight. That may or may not actually be the case. Also, how much am I sitting on? 288. Maybe we should crystallize that first. Just for its own sake. No need to throw it away needlessly. Notice the spine design in the background. And we will head... Or also, what do you want to say? Rad for Radiance, perhaps. Former customer, I should say. The workshop is closed. Yeah, we know that. As for me, I'm itching to take the road again. There are lots of places I haven't seen. The observatory, the embedding chamber, the library. And of course, lots of hats to be made. My own this time. No more relying on Mel. I am a big unit after all. No more doors, though. I'm done with these. Plus, you won't always be around to help me. So, one thing we have to deal with, that reminds me, is... At some point, I do want to find the personal assistants again, wherever they may have gone, in order to check in and inspect some of the curios we have most recently found. Oh, accidentally paged through the first message too quickly. We were always tools to be used until we broke down, and then she would replace us and start over and over again. In the end, it felt like what I did didn't matter. The stuff I fixed, it would always come back to me eventually, broken, even worse than before, so I left. We're at the end of the world. We should surround ourselves with peace and closure, not a never-ending struggle of ever-repeating tasks. Alright, let's set up. We'll see what kind of fight this is. We build very hairpin heavy at the moment, but we'll adjust depending on the needs of what it is we're about to see. Let's open the shell. And Ati is going to tell me something. Let's listen. Is this going to be a rival fight? So this is our final meeting, my sister. The one that will decide our fate. Well, there's no hiding anymore. She made it very clear that he can track me down wherever I decide to go. Yes, the spine's voice is with me. I collected it a long time ago. And I don't intend to part with it. Saving the heart, prolonging our lives at all costs. Those were Nodin's misguided beliefs, the roots of this whole mess. Let go of them. They are not yours to hold. Okay, so I guess we'll listen and probably duel. The vessel is broken, so is the heart, so are we all. Without a purpose, going on would only strain us even thinner. It's best to let go peacefully now, while we still can. We've earned our rest. More conversation? Sister, you still insist, yet you can't prove me wrong. Please renounce. This is your final warning. Well, I mean, if we do, what else would we even do around here, right? We have to progress through the adventure, and that motivates everything. So, unfortunately, we have to fight. Very well. If my words can't reach you, then maybe my actions will. Alright, so is this going to be a kind of mirror fight? Let's see what Ati's abilities will be. We'll get whipped in here. We'll have a proper rival duel. Keeper of the Heart. Oh, let's watch the flash here. Okay. Now, when we use the grapple, we have to actually... Oh, so, okay. This should kind of track you, but that's okay. They're dodgeable. We just didn't do a very good job of it. Okay. There might be enough time to be grounded here, actually. Maybe gratitude isn't the worst idea. And, yeah, we'll... the music pick up a bit. Into the fight, recapitulating the main theme that we've heard ever since the menu screen at the beginning of the game. That's okay. The projectile attack we know about now, we can just go striders over that. We'll continue to approach using the hairpin. I think that's not too bad an idea here, as long as we still hit dodges and just don't take too much damage in general. Now, we can only take 4 hits with our current setup. So, we probably don't want to go into double damage yet, because it's not like Soul and Vin where it's essentially free. But we need to just learn more tells. I like how they bow at the beginning of the duel. Okay. Let's just climb around it. Oh, okay. Actually, maybe dropping through it might be better. And just bully with the hairpin as much as we can. Oh, got hit. Oh, have to get out. Oh, that's okay, as long as we know a pattern for getting off the ground. And we can actually debuff here as well. Oh, 4 off though, unfortunately. Okay, that little triple pattern there. Let's just be aware of it. And then, oh, 1 more hit, unfortunately. Okay, we'll just need to get out, and yeah, bad timing there. But we got pretty far. It was definitely into a late phase. I mean, we can go for a perfectionist approach, perhaps, and take double damage in exchange for the perfect buff, but we'll have to dodge a lot better if we want to do that. So let's just learn more of the pattern first, and then we'll see if we want to be even more aggressive. In the segment where the ground was all electrified, both of the crystals seem to be deactivated. I wasn't able to tap them, rather, because they were already shattered. That's something we need to watch out for. That I flubbed the aerial movement a little bit. Yeah, we finally get to pick on someone our own size. Imagine that. About time. Maybe we even get a damage buff off of this. The way we have of all the other fallen keepers. Whoops. Oh, that's too much damage here already, this early in the fight. Okay, that pattern works slightly at least. Feels like I'm a little slow to take that approach, but... Oh, whoops, that was a bit of a misread on my part. Yeah, no, I lost energy there. And, yeah, the energy management fell apart a little bit while the ground was inactive. That's okay. At least we got to that phase. That's an important landmark. That was much too sloppy in the early moments anyway, and if we're a little better about conserving health, then the picture there will be quite different. What a beautiful setting for a fight, incidentally. Love the color changes. Background becomes foreground. Bow. Courteously before duel. Oh, nope. Missed a flash there for the dodge. Sometimes I'm standing so close I can't actually see the attack tell very well, because there are so many effects coming from my own attacks. Oh, it took too many hits already, actually. We're down to the last point. Yeah, a little too sloppy that time. I stood too close in general and did not actually see the incoming attacks as such, so... want to work a little bit on that visibility and just leave some space to bait an attack in and see the pattern if we can, instead of pushing quite so hard. And Savard, welcome. Yeah, so much lost health. 5 points there off the tremors. Like I've been saying, I'm playing on Switch too, but the Steam patch notes that have come up for the update that PC has received, but Switch 2 has not, indicates that there might be some kind of bug related to when the tremors come in. I don't know if that's affected my file. I actually have no idea, and I'm not going to look it up. Also, we did take down Sol and Vin earlier today very quickly when I returned for the first time since the ordeal that I went through with them previously. So, somewhat significant progress here. And then, oh, thank you so much for the follow. Let's get some dodges down around here. Okay, this is going somewhat decently. You never really take a moment to look at the enemy's health bar. Okay, I have to get out of here and, yeah, kind of need this speed from Striders to get out of that safely, even if you're underground. Oh, no, a little bit too sloppy here. That's not going to last very long. Yeah, no, I was out of energy for the glide. I need to tap the crystal and reload energy when I zip through like that. I'm not using protective overlay, and I'm actually deliberately taking a point off. So I actually can get up to 5 white health. And I have bought up every coat fragment on the shop. So we can get 2 more if we wanted. By putting on protective overlay and taking off thinner frame. Yeah, I suspected it's at max as well because, again, we've bought up the whole shop. And the map would need to have 4 more coding components for this to not be the maximum. But in terms of my current collection, this is what we're looking at. And we had a great time with Sol and Vin using Oath to Ember because you can only take 2 hits on that fight anyway, so it actually does not matter if you let yourself receive double damage. It affects nothing. And so we just went extra aggressive on it. This fight I don't know well enough yet to go double damage. I want to learn more about dodging things first. But we'll put on some more health if things are really going badly, but I've been trying to play with some high damage ideas here and see if they can get us anywhere, so. So yeah, I need to work on that energy management in the segment later when there's the electrified floor. We have really not done it cleanly at all yet. Bad dodges there. Yeah, I underestimate the speed of that attack often. Oh, that's bad. Yeah. That attack at least is easy to see. And then, no, well, just too sloppy there. Much too sloppy. We might actually go high health again just to play with it a bit, because as much as I like to go sharpen hairpin on this for now, we might not be getting enough of a benefit from it while we're still learning to defend, but I'll attempt it a few more times like this before we make too many adjustments. Because it's been fun to just try to go for a really huge modifier bank by making various sacrifices. Just a lot more build flexibility that way. And that reminds me, at some point we need to find the remaining serial number fragment, because we did find the gate at which I need to use it. And so we'll need to backtrack and inspect that a bit further. Because that's the other thing I can do here other than approach to heart. That is currently unaccounted for. Okay. Okay, you can actually dodge consecutively if you have the right rhythm for it and catch all of those. It's just slow enough that it's possible, just not necessarily very tidy. Oh, there's my dodge. Okay, need to tap this, so we have to glide. And then, oh. So, that could have gone better, but not as badly as it was before, I guess. Okay. Nope. Let's watch out here. Okay. That's quite a lengthy sequence of attacks there that we need to watch out for, and I just missed my dodge on that one. I saw that one coming. So, yeah, first time seeing that attack that kind of zips around in a rectangle. We're getting close, clearly. Again, the electrified floor segment could be a little cleaner. We're still taking damage off of the attack in midair, and that's just a matter of making sure we're ready with the dodge. While trying to maintain our position above ground. Just a couple of projectile timing issues here, but if we can get those sorted out, I think we can make it through this quickly. Okay, let's watch out. Nope, too close to the other one. Standing way too close to it. If I'm kind of equidistant from many of those, then we have a better shot at dodging all 5 with dodges alone. Because the rhythm is fairly steady and regular. It's just that you might be too close to one at some point, and then that would get you into trouble. Nope, missed my dodge. Missed my dodge again. So you can see a very clear line where that attack is coming. We've just been a little bit slow on the response. Okay, here's another go at it. We know what the issues have been so far. We just need to be a little more careful all around. Okay, so you just stand in the middle here, actually. Dead center. That's the best way to dodge it. Because then you can hit a very easy and regular timing on them. Oh, whoops. Nope. Kind of a double mistake there, unfortunately. Okay, let's get up. And then here's the part where we need to watch out with the dodges. And then I missed one, unfortunately. Just trying to climb around it. But that has its limits. Nope, missed my dodge. It's a good place to stand, but you still need to hit the timing. So yeah, we may loosen up the budget a bit from the sharpened hairpin, but we'll see see what makes sense. Because having a little bit more of a buffer for missing the projectile dodges might make a bigger impact here. But we'll find out. Okay, got it that time. Just need to stay reasonably steady with it. Oh, no, got hit by the side attack. Wasn't really watching that tell very well since I was standing so close. Okay, that was fortunate more than anything. Oh, missed my dodge. I saw that coming too. It was not even a hard one to skip. And I was just a bit too sloppy there. Nope. Nope. Oh, got double hit there. That was unfortunate. Yeah, no, my dodge was kind of on cooldown there. We actually could have just walked around one of those. You don't need to dodge every single one if you stay grounded and you just walk. Now, I'm grounded enough on that phase. Here's an idea. It may actually make more sense to go gratitude for it. Because we actually do have a lengthy ground time for moments like that. Now, I'm not sure if the dodge would interrupt the time it takes to sit for gratitude, but it makes a certain amount of sense. We'll see how much we're losing from not having the sharpened hairpin when it comes to attack power, but we have enough ground time that if we need that extra point in a pinch, there are certain phases where you can get it. So let's figure it out. It does mean we won't be able to attack quite as aggressively, but we'll find out. And yeah, Gaming Sage, well, thank you once again for the raid, and you have a solid bedtime. Yeah, definitely my attack timing is feeling quite different now that we don't have the attack through the hairpin, but we can still make it. We can still approach with the hairpin pretty well to get the strong attack. Yeah, we're still getting a reasonable number of attacks here. Whoop. That was unfortunate. Nope. No, I got whacked like crazy that time. Just got thrown off a little bit. Yeah, if I'm off the rhythm, then everything just falls apart in that, unfortunately. But maybe if we stay grounded... Oh, whoops, got pulled in. know, not getting the opportunity to stay on the floor here yet. And we shouldn't try to prioritize that if we're still trying to dodge around. Yeah, I did get a gratitude. That's the thing. It's possible to do it, but I need to not forget to dodge when I'm trying to take the risk of staying grounded. But there are some clear segments there where you can try. So I'll stick with this to see if we can get that to pay off a little bit better, but sometimes it takes a while to get to the part of the pattern where you can, in fact, get that point back. So we'll still need to dodge cleanly. Okay, let's take a bow. Yeah, that's the thing, is that there's so much effects artwork going on sometimes that I'm not seeing the enemy attack flash. Or rather, I'm not seeing what I'm reading there because I'm standing too close. Okay. No, this has been a little disastrous. That's gonna be a little bit not conducive to staying on the ground as well. Oh, I could have dodged out of that one easily. That was a big mistake. I missed the swiftness of the sharpened hairpin, though, in terms of being able to attack and aggressively. So technically, gratitude is also protective overlay. Yeah, but it's one that recharges, right? You're not just getting the single point. You might potentially get many, as we saw when I got through the duo fight that was above the breath last time. Where there were some very clear opportunities to just sit and wait for that point. So we'll see. Obviously, gratitude does cost double of just having one extra point, but this is on the assumption that we'll be able to get that back more than once. Yeah. Gratitude may or may not pay off. I mean, you know, if we're losing too much time on the fight by not having enough as attack-oriented, that won't help, but clearly damage mitigation has been a bit of an issue, so... Now, we don't need to hairpin everywhere quite as aggressively as we did before, if that's throwing me off too much, because... we no longer have the sharpened one, but... Oh, got hit by one. That's okay. We'll try to get that point back. We can stay grounded enough. Currently not the case, but... Here we go. Got the point back. So yeah, just chose not to attack him too aggressively so we could get some replenishment. Now we're taking this phase a little bit slowly. Doesn't mean we need to deal with this stuff again. But maybe we can get the point back, so... Let's sit. Oh, if we can. Haven't had the opportunity yet, but... Yeah, we got it back. Great. So yeah, you can just stall and use gratitude. Does mean we have to deal with many more of these phases than usual, and oh, dodged too early, or dodged the wrong one rather. Of course, we can't stay grounded in this section here. Oh, yeah. The energy management needs work on that part. Nope. Taking too many points off here. And yeah, you stay grounded even with the dodges. You can get that point back once again. Lost it. Yeah, the only thing is that I'm playing so passively that the fight is taking long enough that I just wind up doing more dodging. But we were able to get several points of health back. It's just that we couldn't progress the fight very quickly. So, if we can fix that up a little bit. I mean, I'm not using the hairpin as much now with this strategy, so maybe we should change something up here. Audio is so cool and needs lots of screen time. Yeah, perhaps so. Because maybe we don't go for Wildcat. I mean, we're still approaching side to side a little bit with the hairpin, but it may make sense to do something else. We had a great deal of success with the sail bonus against Sol and Vin, for instance. Perfect state obviously won't last very long. I doubt the stun will work very well against bosses. Had a lot of success with this against the Anra and Dr. Helen fight, so that's a consideration as well, in terms of just getting the weak points up all the time. But, you know what? Let's go back to the 3-hit combo, actually. And we'll still potentially keep this, because we do have a few situations where I'm on low energy, unless there's something a little more conducive to how we're doing the fight. Actually, let's go back to Hans Greed on this one. We'll just take a very different approach, and then we'll attempt to do it with the gratitude refresh still on. Of course, Hans Greed synergizes better with having high health. And so maybe that isn't what we want to take with the health reduction, but we'll figure it out. Okay, again, no hairpin bonus, but we should try to go for the triple attack. I don't know that we've been getting a triple attack very much, actually, but like the 3-hit combo here, but we'll try to go for it anyway. Yeah, because I'm not grappling in all the time, then I can give myself a little bit more space to actually read what's going on. Oh, whoops. Didn't read that properly. Yeah, sometimes we still need to grapple to approach. I find my health to be a little more difficult to read at a glance, though, when I'm taking the one that scales with points lost. Sometimes, you know, I can't really read my life bar accurately while I'm dodging things. And, whoop. No, bad dodge timing all around. You're saying before the patch, hands agreed doesn't count to tremors. How would it count to tremors either way? No, I didn't expect it would count to tremors. I'm not expecting that it's reading that as 5 points lost or something. So hands agreed would only scale with the 2 or 3, well, 3 layers of coding that we're losing, but it would still scale, right? So might still be worth it unless we have something that scales better. I mean, or we could just go protection again, or... I mean, we wouldn't do that while leaving this one, of course. Thinner frame. Because if I take off thinner frame, then I've only got 5 points remaining to work with. And then I can swap that over to another 10... Well, we might want to go back to this one, because then that scales well with the first hit that you get after grapple or sail or striders or anything else. Because I feel like we'll get more aggregate damage increase off of that than off of this. And we'll try to remember to find opportunities to restore the point from gratitude as well. That time I wasn't really playing towards that. At least not consciously. The patch made a tremor scale. That feels massively overpowered. So you're saying that you just start out with Hands Greed just giving you +5 worth of bonuses here, I guess? That feels extremely overpowered if that's the case. I mean, I don't know what the scaling rate is on that, but... Okay. Tidy so far. Let's actually get some dodges down. Oh, bad dodge timing that time. We should retain the original strategy of staying centered against that. Oh. We actually had just gotten the point back. Only to lose it. And then, yeah, no, I lost my energy on the way up. It's okay. Oh. But comboed over there. Unfortunately, we really do need that remaining point now. Stay grounded. I refreshed 1 point only to lose it immediately. Oh, bad position. Didn't help that I didn't dodge. Yeah, that diagonal attack actually has a much larger frontal range of damage than I expected. I thought it would just kind of hit along that diagonal, but no, it slaps quite a few spaces in front. So we do need to watch out for that and get off the ground for it. I didn't realize how far forward that hit. We'll Clearly many opportunities to get the point back from gratitude. We did on a few occasions only to get hit right away. So we just need to not overcommit to the idea of trying to get that point back and just stay grounded when it's safe. But in general, the dodging needs a lot of cleaning up. Oh, wow. Big mistake already. Yeah, I can kind of dodge and then sidestep, dodge, sidestep, and just get a better timing off that. We just need to do it systematically. I just have not been dodging cleanly enough to really get past that at all. Oh, couldn't get my point back yet. And now we're in big trouble. No. Missed it, just as we got a point back. But yeah, sidestepping each one is fine. It's just that I've really been missing the dodges across the board, and that's absolutely turning the whole fight at the moment. And that's something that can be cleaned up. It's not something that requires a change in approach. Just slightly smoother pattern reading and reaction time. Okay, let's go over this again. Okay, good. That's clean. Yeah, just alternate dodge and sidestep, and we can do that cleanly every time. We'll have a much cleaner time with the fight on the whole. Whoops. Oh, totally didn't read it. Okay. Need to watch some of the energy management here. Nope, missed it. Okay, we won't be grounded for some time yet while we're dealing with this stuff. Now, if we tap, then we get an energy refresh. So if we can attack in on that part of the pattern, then we're in much better shape. And we'll even get a point back now. Way better this time. Despite mistakes. Oh, nope. Didn't read that properly. Yeah, we've got a long ground time here. Oh, missed that. Just as we were grounded again and refreshing. Nope. Missing some hotels. Missing too many hotels. Yeah, there's a big forward swipe on landing. We just need to dodge through it. Get that timing. And yeah, the 2-hit combo there is a big problem. And standing too close for the projectile there and just got shotgunned by that in the face. But we lasted quite long that time with a decent health pool. It just fell apart a little bit quickly at the end. I think this approach is working. We just need cleaner dodges in the latter half. But we were at full for a significant part of that fight. And in fact, if we can do this well enough to, using the extra point buffer from gratitude, stay technically at full health. And I am considering putting on the damage buff for staying perfect. But let's worry about the defensive cleanliness of all this first. Because obviously that can fall apart quickly in the late phases if we're not careful, even here. Okay, let's stay grounded and just try to get the point back. We can, oh, nope, failed to do so already. So yeah, that's something that wouldn't have worked out if we go for perfect. You can watch the flashes to see which orb is going next. Oh, 2-hit combo, unfortunately. Point back just in time to lose it. Whoop. Yeah, trying too hard to stay grounded again, but we'll try not to fall apart that quickly next time. We've had some good runs. It's a very, very doable fight. From everything that I've seen so far, nothing's really too concerning so long as we hit the dodges. And it's really been the entire skill check here so far. The actual pattern is, if anything, one of the easier ones we've seen lately. Oh, into this already. Nope, missed a dodge. Oh, nope. Let's try to stay grounded for some of this. Nope. Not working. Yeah, I have to hit the dodges a lot cleaner than that if we have to get that point back. Whoop. Now, once again, once I started taking damage, we tried a little too hard to get that point back by dodging on the ground. I think I still want to jump around, not rely so much on cleanliness of the dodge, which hasn't really been coming together lately. Everybody just chilling here while you fight upstairs. I think the gratitude-based approach is a sound one, though. I would like to stick with it. We'll clean up all the defense as we go. Okay. Nope, standing too close to that one this time. Got zoned out a little bit when I should have stayed closer to center. Nope. I'm trying to practice staying at full main white coating in case we want to go for the perfect strategy or build. Oop. Got too far, wouldn't range that time. Yeah, this fight does kind of reward approaching with hairpin quite a bit, in fact. So, ever since we switched out of that, we've been struggling to get out of the first phase just in terms of damage, but if we want to switch back to going aggressive, then we'll figure that out. It's more because sharpened hairpin is too good. It is very good. But even regardless of sharpened hairpin, the positioning in this fight is very conducive to closing in with hairpin. Some fights are not. This one has a lot of moments where hairpin is the right way to approach, and we just need to figure out how much risk we want to assume in the build in the meantime. But yeah, I'm staying too grounded in some ways when I should be jumping around a bit more until there's a clear opportunity to refresh health sometimes. Okay, that was a little better. Wasn't really according to plan necessarily, but nope, bad timing that time. Yeah, maybe you can dodge out a part of that two-hit combo, but I haven't really been able to hit that very consistently. Yeah, so you can sidestep a bunch of those actually. The main risk there when dodging those projectiles is that I sometimes have my dodge on cooldown when I really want to have it available. And yeah, sometimes I really do want to jump out of attacks. When I have a moment to stay on the ground, we will. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten that gratitude point back just yet here. Okay. Okay, that was close, but we managed. Oh, not reading the face here. That was a very clear tell, and I just missed it. Forgot about that projectile change on the phase change, actually. It's a very clear charging effect. It's in fact reinforced under rumble on the controller. That you're dealing with a big charge attack from the enemy, but I didn't plan for it properly. So yeah, taking a little bit too much damage still, but some aspects can improve steadily here. And we just need to put those little improvements together on the same attempt. Okay, let's watch this. That worked well. Dodging first and last. It depends where I'm standing, of course, in terms of what's the best dodging pattern for that part. Yeah. We don't want to get caught by the enemy hairpin into the traction. There we go. Reasonably clean. Oh, missed my dodge. I saw it coming too. Couldn't quite stay grounded there. Or there. I will try to look for an opportunity. Oh, just in time. Yeah, that has to be dodged, pretty much. Yeah, a bit of a change up in the activation pattern here in this phase, but apart from it not going in a strict left to right order, we're actually fine. Oops, got caught that time. This is why it falls apart a bit in this phase, because we start getting caught by some attacks like that. If I can stay grounded a little bit longer, there we go. We get the point back, and lose it immediately, and immediately, whoops. Nope, almost missed my dodge there as well. Nope, missed. Saw it coming, the timing was just off. We'll get the point back. Nope, missed it. Nope, missed my dodge there at that time as well. Watch the pattern. Too many misses all around. But that was close. That was really quite close, and we just got hit by too many consecutive hits on a number of attacks in the last phase. But there was a lot about that attempt that showed dramatic signs of improvement, and as long as we can keep it clean the whole way through, I think this idea is working. We might tweak the build a little bit, but since we're this far up already, let's just do the next attempt. Since I'm not getting that much mileage out of the energy expenditure into attack at the moment. Mostly because I'm staying grounded so much, so I'm not using the hairpin to approach as much because it does get me off the ground slightly, and we sometimes don't want to do that if we're still trying to play defensively. So yeah, a lot of improvements in the defense that time. Oh, got hit. Nope, missed a tell there. And then missed again. Yeah, there's a very long tell on that retraction. It's just that I dodged too early into it. I could see it. We just reacted too soon. Because on the enemy hairpin that pulls you in, and there's a little bit of a whip backwards first to wind it up. You can see it, but if you're baited into dodging too early, then you can get yourself into quite a bit of trouble. Let's see how we do this time. Okay. Yeah, just a long tail on that. Just need to watch it. Especially when things get a bit hectic in the late phases. Yeah, sometimes we're just not giving Ati enough space to read the attack that's incoming. And now, that time I just got caught off the ground. I was mid-jump and we didn't get a safe landing the way I would have liked. I can stay way out of range for this attack if it's coming from all the way on the other side, and so I can stay grounded on it. Oh. Nope, missed it. Saw it coming, we just missed a dodge. And triple attack there on the stomp. That's something specific to this phase. Let's watch the pattern. Okay, got hit by one, but could be worse. Nope. Side attack, whoop. Oh, dodged too soon. Replenished right before that and lost it. Now we're way down. Okay. Most of the way, but a couple of critical mistakes that compounded. Oh, I said I was going to redo the build slightly. Let's take a look at this. So yeah, we're not using this much. Let's actually see how long we can remain in perfect state. Because if I'm able to get gratitude back and running to protect our main 3 layers of coating, I think perfect state might actually still remain in place. I don't think it counts to gratitude point, at least I assume it doesn't. From what I'd see. And it's fairly cheap to take it as a damage buff. Over the course of the fight, we may actually get more damage out of that than out of the attack from not full energy, of which again we're not using much. In fact, I've got so much plugged into energy refreshes right now that maybe that's not so critical on this fight, because mostly you need it for the air phase, where we want to tap things to replenish energy anyway. We can actually make a few other improvements, since we're not that dependent on energy skills the way that I've been playing this so far. Where we're just trying to stay grounded and go head on. Oh, staying too close. Well, so much for the perfect. Already lost it. But we're pretty steady in this phase. Oh, yeah, the thing is, nope, and now we lost it because that's a 2-hit combo, and then that really throws a spanner into the works, unfortunately. So we will lose the damage increase at this point, but at least we got through the first phase quickly, which is part of the point, just to have an aggregate damage increase over the course of the fight. That lasts as long as we can. Oh, got a point back and lost it. Yeah, that does such a huge dash forward on the ground. It's something that must be dodged. Okay, almost flubbed the dodge there, but luckily walked out of position. Watch this carefully. Nope, that was not careful. Yeah, it gets way out of range for that. I need to hit a slightly longer range so I can see what's happening. I keep saying that and not doing it. So we can actually see the tells. Didn't stay on the ground long enough there, but apart from a few critical errors, maybe this is doable. Let's do a little bit more tweaking. I actually wonder if rather than going for energy recharge based skills, maybe we can take some things like this off. And perfect state is nice, but maybe going back into splintering dodge may be better. But let's go this for now and see if we can put another tenor on that makes sense. Getting hit generates an energy shard. That might work too, actually. If we're taking a 10. Hopefully not too visually distracting when we do it that way. Because we can get those energy shards, but if we can also walk around and have gratitude, reload health, then we might be able to get a good amount of damage output going. Just so we have to do less dodging over the course of the fight. I already have energy shards to use, yeah, but in the middle of the room in the middle phase, well, Sometimes I lose access to those a little bit, but we'll find out. I haven't really been doing much crystal debuffing at all, even in that phase when that's available. We normally can't hit that. We'll see. Just retuning a little bit to squeeze what juice we can out of this. And again, I just need more room to read the attack sometimes. Yeah, we can stay nice and clean on the early phases and not get caught by consecutive attacks. Then we might be in good shape. Okay, saw that one coming. Okay. Good. Yeah, we have the energy shards in the middle of this phase, but haven't been able to use them well yet. Oh, look at that. There was a little fake out there that changed direction. No wonder we got caught by that in this phase so much, because it does retarget you. Okay, let's watch out. This is a tough moment often. Oh, nope, missed. Trying to stay grounded here, but we haven't had the opportunity yet. There we go. Put it back. Nope. Let's try to get the point back. Oh, got caught. Again, that's a double hit. So, unfortunately, we lost our perfect, but we're very close to the end of the fight, so. I actually only just now glanced over at the enemy health pool. And we just don't completely make a disaster out of this part. We might be able to get it in a moment. Yeah, cutting it a little bit close here. Very close, actually. Oh, we might lose here. So close. We were maybe about a hit off. But that fell apart all at once. That was absolutely winnable. Very, very winnable. And there was just a massive choke at the end. Just several points of damage worth of choke. It's okay. Tells me it's very, very doable. We were doing so well in that fight too. Even notwithstanding the gratitude, we went hitless for a long stretch. But yeah, near the end, we just didn't have a clear opportunity to attack in. I was trying to find a way to grapple in and strike, but kept running into trouble by Perhaps getting a little bit impatient there. Tells me the current build is okay as long as we can maintain that perfect. For as long as we can. Honestly, the pacing of the attack pattern here is pretty relaxed relative to a lot of the other fights we've seen up to this point. Okay, let's stay grounded and try to get the point back. Haven't really been able to just yet. Got it. Oh, no, got caught. That's two-hit combo, lost it perfect. We need to just stand way out of range for that one. I can't rely on myself to dodge it. Oh, missed my dodge timing, and then, yeah, this has been a disaster all of a sudden. So this went badly. Oh, nope, just missed the charge timing and missed it twice. Once you're off one dodge, you just fall off the others, so. That was a bit sloppy. Yeah, and that attempt where we were just a sliver away from winning, I just couldn't believe we kept whiffing every attack in the very end. Just could not land a hit. We needed to get that over the line. Okay, let's get our heads back in this game and see how we can muddle through here. Gotta stay relatively defensive. That dodge timing was not as clean as I wanted, but we made it. I felt way too early on that. Nope. I saw that coming and we just missed it anyway. And unfortunately, when you get hit by that double hit, you just lose the perfect entirely and the whole strategy goes down. Luckily, we still have the energy shards when we do take the hit. We should be using the energy shard debuff more often on the second phase for sure, actually, now that we've spent more time thinking about it. Yeah, and the thing is, you're standing too close. You have to get way out of there on the hairpin. There's a big windup. We just keep misreading it. And that's absolutely been the biggest problem on this fight so far, is dodging the hairpin grab with the huge tail on it that pulls you in. So again, we really don't want to hit from too close. That's been one of the issues here, is just attacking too close in melee range, obstructing the pattern reading itself. I guess this is what happens when you do pick on someone your own size. That's often not the case with the larger enemies, where you can see a very clear animation that overpowers you in scope without getting a little bit lost in the action. But a rival fight, you need to be a lot more attentive. to small movements. Totally missed half those attacks there. No, already a problem. Let's try to stay grounded when we can. Get out. Get way out. That's the way to do it. Stand back for a moment here just to try to get that health back. It's not coming back yet. Nope, missed it. Well, got it back right on time rather. Still perfect, technically. Yeah, if you're way out of range on it, then you don't need to worry about it retargeting or anything. You just stay far, far away. Okay, got the point back. Now we can jump again. Stay away. Yeah, it's always from the center on that attack, so as long as you stay close to the edge, it's not as much of a clear threat. Oh, missed my dodge. Okay, let's stay on the ground a bit longer. Take it patiently so you can just read what's happening. Nope. Okay, still hitting most of the dodges except we lost it again. Not grappling too much here because I want to just make sure we have a very clear read on the situation. Nope, that was not it. Okay, hairpin. Get out. Yeah. You can retarget all at once, but as long as you stay way out of range of the attack, you're okay. The tell for that is actually that's in the center position. It's always from the center position, so as long as you're on the edge, it's not a threat. So watch out for that whenever the enemy goes center. Let's watch this pattern. No. Okay. Yeah, just need to hit every dodge here. And okay. Oh, got hit. Let's try to remain grounded somewhere. Phase 2? We're getting a phase 2. So, oh, we both got hit by whatever's going on here. We got twinned into a situation where we're losing even more health by the looks of it. Let's see what happens. Or maybe we just severed some sibling bond that was actually very vital. Let's find out, because it looks like we're going to struggle to get out of here. We're forced into a slow walk where I can't use any abilities. Do I have to walk away? I guess I do have to walk away, unless we can come in close. I mean, am I given any kind of choice here? That's the thing. So look at that. So we can actually do a little attack like this. But I wonder what happens if I just try to walk away. Because maybe we're supposed to do a little bit of a final tap there. I think we are, but I'm just going to walk around anyway to see what happens. Well, listening to the melody that you've correctly noted there is being quite pleasant to sit through while we see how high one can climb. Yeah, no, I'm not actually allowed to leave, I don't think. I think I do, in fact, have to strike and finish this. Slow walk our way over. Yeah, no other abilities are really possible or active at this point. All we can do is hit the attack button to do a little chop like this. And commit a bit of fratricide. There we go. Nati defeated. Nati, the fallen keeper. Okay, I guess we'll reap the spine's voice. Well, I mean, as another keeper, do we get more attack power? Probably not. Just a spine's voice. That was already taken. Noden the spine, a voice that carries the weight of choice. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we're in a kind of interior. It's a bit floaty here. Am I actually able to climb out? Notice that we're rather zoomed in, and also that the health pool is no longer relevant, so this is some kind of transitional segment where we sink down below. Right down to spinal column. Where will that take us? Ooh, look at this. Oh, this must be the heart, actually. It would make sense for this to be the heart. Rotting everywhere. Taking down the whole structure with it. I mean, it was the tremors of the heart anyway that kind of shook the whole foundation into place, right? And that's the problem we were attempting to solve from the get-go. So, Clea, heart of the vessel, indeed.
Tired. So very tired. So very frail.
So I wonder if this is already approaching some kind of first ending. Again, we had been told ahead of us that there were at least two. And we have unfinished business with things like the serial numbers. So yeah, the heart being unable to sustain the vessel was the central problem at the outset. And look at that. Figure trapped here.
Is as far as I take us.
That must be the embedded voice of the heart.
I am sorry.
The embedded voice of Clea.
voices.
Yeah, hence our collection of the voices and bringing them here.
You gathered their help for me, didn't you?
And then we'll have some kind of interaction on this end.
You always were the dependable one. Never asking for anything in return. Thank you. With all of you by my side, I think I can hold on. I won't let this world go. Not yet.
Okay, so we restored the other voices here to attempt to restore the heart, and then let's see what that does.
Keeper.
And yeah, the figure embedded within
Beyond your
does seem
imperfections.
like it's trapped in a cocoon. But anyway, let's watch the scene. So the keeper brings the voice here, and then
Your memories show how difficult it was. And how brave you were. The people you met.
yeah, including our personal assistant who ran off and didn't study the rest about curios. Sine, cosine, and tangent, they're running off.
That you have to pay the price for our past mistakes.
Well, clearly there's some kind of true ending that allows me to avoid that outcome.
But your spark, however tiny, is what holds us all together.
But yeah, that's the rooftop of the whole cylindrical station. And we see this reveal of
There is strange
what it looks like on the outside.
no more. And it is thanks to you. Rest well, MIO. You are one with the vessel now.
So probably we would get credits. And of course we're not done with this game. There is a lot that has not been seen yet. We haven't seen the pit, we haven't gone through the serial number area. That's the main thing that it looks like I can do that is within my power right now that we haven't figured out yet. Finding the remaining serial and getting through that door. Now, who knows how far it actually gets you. But thank you for the GG for now, for what we've seen here. Like I said, I don't know if we'll necessarily do 100% on stream, but there's clearly a lot of material that I did not get to, so I'd rather see this through and see if it reveals any other information here and how the save system is going to work, whether we pass back to the previous save before entering the fight with Auntie that we had just now, or if there's something else that happens. Now, regardless, this gives us a bit of a moment to just enjoy the credits and soak in the game. This ended up being a fairly substantial experience, without necessarily even feeling that long. It didn't feel like a particularly big map, in some ways because you would open such direct shortcuts everywhere. But I think because throughout you have this largely gentle movement speed, combined with a lot of backtrack exploration on my part, plus, of course, the several hours of attempts on Soul and Vin the first time, that the way things added up to well over the 30 to 35 hour mark on my run. That gets into the territory of how long it took to get through something like Hollow Knight the first time. It does not feel like it's that big a game, right, in some ways, but there actually was quite a lot that we did here. And of course, the thing that I think really defines this game in a way, apart from the rather more obvious aesthetic considerations like the lovely art style and the electronic music with lots of electric keyboard and everything that's going on there to lead the whole experience. It's just that it was very unique in terms of movements throughout and had a very focused idea of what it wanted to do with the movement skills. Speaking of movement skills, yes, there's something on the left bar of the central movement skills that we never collected either. There's something we're missing there. 06i, you feel like it's as big as Hollow Knight without all the DLCs. I only first played Hollow Knight on the Switch version when I think all but the last DLC were already in, so it's hard to tell because it's one of those games where, you know, it felt like it was a very brisk experience throughout. But part of it was, I think, that it was just generally absorbing yet calm. That despite the objective difficulty of some of the fights that took us a while to sort out when it comes to dodging patterns and the like, that it was kind of like a very cozy experience of figuring that out, and so you don't really feel the length so much. It felt very pacey. But yeah, the movement skills and the kind of very focused idea of how to build fights and build platforming challenges around the energy management, I think really stands out to me here. The fact that one really did have to adjust to managing airtime versus ground time in ways that were reinforced by the customization system and reinforced by the different modifiers you could pick, that was something that I found was very well thought out. And as far as what we can do to progress from here, again, we'll need to sit through the credits and see if there's anything else that reveals itself now. But in the absence of that information, naturally the next thing to try is the serial number and the locked door down below in the lab. There's a lot that we might suspect is gated behind that. So it doesn't prompt you for a save at this point, you'll notice. That I think it just goes back to my Nexus save that we see as 5 minutes ago, though. 5 minutes ago would indicate to me that maybe it does tag the save sort of at the end of the fight, because 5 minutes ago we were definitely past the fight already. So let's actually continue and dive back in and see what the file looks like. And whether there's any post-game acknowledgement, or if it is just straight back to the pre-fight state. So we're back to the Nexus. But is there anything new that has been revealed? Yes. Noden's voice. So it does send you back to the state where you have completed the spine fight, and it does allow you to continue from here. That's an important difference. Now, because this is kind of a fairly natural breakpoint, I may actually keep this a comparatively short session today. But we'll scan this area here and figure out whether we get a notice of Pearl severed here, for instance, or not. Yeah, so the spine is attuned already on site. So let's see what differs here, because of course, obviously, after finishing the spine fight the first time, I was not allowed to do anything other than just proceed into the finale and the credits sequence. You're saying I can do quite a bit more than I think with the current map. Well, let's go over it. I'll look over the map and we'll talk about the different progression blocks that I see right now. Because there are a few things that I have not figured out, and which I hadn't determined whether they would be within my power or not. Interestingly enough, you can listen to Ati in spite of the fact that we had saved. You know what? Let's listen. I wonder if this asked me to do the same fight going down. I assume it does, but then we had already retrieved Nodin's voice, so what happens? So it actually does get you back into the fight, so that's interesting. I'm going to lose this fight quickly. We'll just take damage here and lose the fight. So in spite of the fact that we already have this post-game acknowledgement of the spine, we would still need to get through the Keeper of the Heart to get to the heart. So let's just lose this fight quickly and we'll just get back out. And of course I've been staying here grounded for so long that I'm taking a while to lose here. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the map and see what's going on. So first of all, this little corner here, for some reason I never revealed it. Although it didn't seem like I could reach that previously. Maybe that's worth a look. Second, this bit here. This had a couple of those nodes for replenishing my movement that I couldn't quite reach from below. I figured that maybe I'm supposed to drop into it from above, but there's something going on here that I didn't see. This here, we never figured out how to approach despite scanning everything on the outside. This here is the grapple point through the sludge, through the gloom water. And I couldn't figure out how to get to it without taking damage. I don't know if it's a timing or placement thing, or if there's some other interaction to unlock it first, but having repaired that grapple point was the first step. I don't know if there's a second step. But I'm not invulnerable grappling through there, with or without a dodge. But this continues to a passage that we have revealed here, that I was not able to get to. Now, next thing. This we explored earlier today, and this is a passage that connects, well, it's the end point of a pipe. We saw that there was a pipe going all the way down through here. We could see it visually from this sequence, but we did not have a way to get past here because that's where the pipe shuts behind you in the original escape sequence from so long. So I could not get into this whole area between here, where there's clearly a wall to break, and here. As I was saying, it looked like there might potentially be something like a lift connection that goes up to connect to here. This was blocked by wind, where I could not manage my energy in such a way that I could slip down to that corner. It looked like it was very close, where it was slightly out of reach, but there's something here that I've not been able to see. The redacted segment we should obviously be exploring more and combing through completely in order to find a remaining serial number. And the serial number will get you past something down below here. That was this door here, which might ultimately connect to quite a bit more. Then this was what apparently led to the pit. We don't know what's going on with the pit. Then on top of that, we have the fingertip to deal with, as well as the torn overseer here. And clearly there's something that we haven't seen up here because we never restored this one with an overseer that would reach that destination. Despite having unlocked the lift all the way up, there's something that we're clearly not seeing there still. And occasionally when we see big blank spots on a map like this, I start thinking that maybe there's an area that we have not traversed nearby. So we might have to spend some time poking at this map, because there might be something else too that I have not revealed, but this is our current state. And yeah, again, this little corner for some reason is unrevealed in a way that's suspicious, but apart from that, we need to solve a couple of things. So we found a gate associated with a serial number. We have not found what is associated with the candles. We have not found whatever these keys are, and it's clear that it's in the same section as keys because it's in the same section as Lura's seal. We're missing 2 curios, and we also need to find my personal assistant again to see what to do with that. We're missing whatever this movement ability is. Oh, you know what? Wasn't there something at the beginning of the game that told me that I should check the Sam's location? Oh, you know what? Estragon's here. Oh, that might be new and different. Let's listen. I'm confused, little unit. I watched you open a shell. Why is it empty? What does it mean? Is his spine gone? Is he broken? Well, it means we finished the game. We're sent back out of our save file. So this is, in fact, something new. We'll answer our please now. If the pearls themselves can die, then how are we meant to go on? So this is interesting. Because maybe there's some interaction that we're still missing that reacts to the fact that I have the spine. And which I just don't know about yet. Down here, this is the starting area. That's not what I'm going for. I'm trying to go for... What was it? There's a particular room I wanted to check, and I'm trying to recall what it was, but let's go back upstairs first. Yeah, this top part here. No, that's just where we came out in the intro sequence in the first place. What was he saying about the pause? I didn't even catch that. There was that initial location that was to the left. That, if I can find it. We never figured out what this interacts with because we came here at the beginning of the game and nothing happens. Even though this looks like it's one of the slots that Samsk is supposed to come through. Also, there's a little point up above. Not sure. When I first met you in the ruins, I realized I could do something more, something that would last, and I could decide for myself whether it was worth it. You're worth it, lass. I don't regret anything. Yeah, like I said, we're not really going to continue the adventure past this point very much today. I just wanted to maybe get a lay of the land to understand what it is we'll attempt next and what it is we can do. You know, this is a much faster passageway up instead of just going up the lift like we did previously. Why didn't I do that in the first place? But yeah, no matter what it looks like, in order to get to the heart, we do need to go through that fight. The question is what else we can do up to that point and how that will affect the outcome. And possibly even preserve MIO in some way in the process. So it was the whole fingertip thing going on. There was incidentally a way to get up through. Oh, you know what? We did the whole descent down the lifts from Sol and Vin. I'm just thinking about the broken part of the shaft that's on the right side. No, that just leads you here, which we've done. Yeah. Never found the approach here, as we were saying. There might be something that perhaps passes over from this side across the shaft from behind. We never really figured that out. I haven't really been back to this area at all, actually. So that might be worth looking at. I'm just thinking about what else could possibly have changed in a post-game state or just in response to everything else we've been doing so far. What the natural place to check would be. But I think the clear next objective that presents itself at the moment would definitely be to go for the serial number. That's the thing that just strikes me as most available. We really do need to figure out whether I'm just obstructed by movement skills here. Oh, also, that does remind me. Out of all the different places that we were poking at down here before, that the one thing that seemed available but which we couldn't figure out was how to escape through this top slot here. If we can find a way to do that with things like generating energy shards or some other method that I haven't thought about yet, like how, for instance, with this modifier. So getting hit by an getting hit by an enemy generates an energy shard. So you can't just get hit by stage hazards for that. It has to be an enemy specifically. You can't cheese things too much when it comes to the platforming. But yeah, there's clearly some kind of interconnection that we need to look for here if we can figure out maybe a way to get through this top slot. But it seemed out of range vertically for much the same reasons as this bit here. And I don't know if it's an ability I'm missing or just a particular quirk of movement that I hadn't thought about employing. But that essentially is the very long to-do list. There is tons of stuff to see. And yeah, it could be something else I was missing. I mean, there's so much that has potential here, apart from the fact that we can't get through this area despite platforming all the way over. It is strange that it would let me retrace the escape path all the way over and just block me at the end. We didn't really check this upper area an additional time, though. But there could very well be things like the slingshot-dependent gates that we came across at some point and just didn't remember the placement of and are not really clearly marked on the map. We don't know. But that's all I can think of for the time being. So I think in the interest of having a natural endpoint today, we'll... Oh yeah, and look at this. There's this little bottom area here too that we didn't reveal, but it didn't seem like we could actually get through that floor. So that's a bit of a mystery in its own right. So yeah, lots of things that we will want to try to extend the map a bit further. And hopefully we don't just wander aimlessly lost for too long the next time that we're here. But we're clearly in a post-game save now. Even though there's no explicit marking of that apart from the fact that we have collected Nodin's voice. Notice, too, that you have all of these testimonies of the voices that are associated with each of the pearls. Rather, you hear what each of the voices say, but we're missing two. Very clearly, that's going to be Asthma over here, and then the heart down here. So those seem to be the remaining collectibles in that spot. These two are going to be keys that we don't have. The rest of this, we'll just have to figure out. Yeah, a lot of this stuff empty here. That's clearly worth looking into. I'm just trying to look at the map to puzzle out whether there's anything else that has some potential that we haven't really been able to crack. Because we have previously gone back several times to some of these locations to see if I could find some new way to traverse, some way to get to the points of interest that we know are still locked away. And I don't know that we'll have any more insight, even with the voice of the spine in hand. But I think we'll just have to explore and find out. So, we'll stop for now and ponder it out. And next time we'll just have to remember to maybe change our current build a little bit too, depending on what we want to do and where we want to go. We'll leave it here today, and thank you for joining me once again to see things through to our first encounter with the end credits. I'm going to try not to look anything up about how to potentially get to a second ending, but I think it's very clearly implied that we can have an even better outcome with more of the map explored. And very satisfying today just to get through Sol and Vin quickly, if nothing else. So thanks for joining me, and until we continue this and see if we can maybe wrap up what we can of the game in perhaps one more big stream, depending on how lost or stuck we get. Have a wonderful time with everything that you may be playing or making or otherwise catching up on. Thanks for coming by once again. And as usual, fare thee well.